Hello, 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 hello. How are you? Welcome to a new episode of Let's Talk About It Tuesday. I am Ms. Empower, and this is a new episode of Let's Talk About It Tuesday, and the title is The Importance of a Father. Just trying to see if everything is set up because it just seems a little weird. Okay. Sure. The volume is all the way down. Okay. Whew. I'm going to give like a minute for some more of my viewers to log on with me tonight. See if I can set this up here where I'll be able to see. Go back to my comments. So I'm going to start, Let's Talk About It Tuesday off with the Serenity Prayer because I try to read it every week. It should already be on. I think YouTube hasn't picked up yet. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the Serenity Prayer and then a couple of announcements and then we'll jump in. So, what happened? I don't know why it's not opening. Okay. So, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking as Jesus did this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it. Trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen. So, I always like to start with the Serenity Prayer because so many of us are experiencing different things in life, and sometimes we have to learn how to adjust ourselves and to stay afloat when you're going through something. And just know that, just make sure you are, staying prayerful and that you are still looking forward and not allowing yourself to fall off track. And understand that we go through things for a simple reason. It doesn't seem simple, and sometimes it's hard, and sometimes you feel discouraged in the process. But just continue to live in God's will and know that you'll get through this. Whatever it is, you're going to get through it. It's going to pass. This too shall pass. I used to hear that so often, when I was a little girl. And there were times when I just didn't want to hear that. Like, I just didn't, how about I just not have to go through this? But You know, we have certain things in life that we have to go through. We have to experience for whatever the reason is. But keep believing in you. Keep moving forward. And it doesn't hurt to read that prayer every day, because it gives you some motivation, some inspiration to keep moving. So let me see here. Hey, Sydney, thanks for joining me. Let me know if you want to come on camera with me, Sydney, because I really did want you to be a part of this with me. But I have decided, because tonight's episode is the importance of a father, I am going to do more than one part. So as I was researching, as I was getting my ideas together, there are so many parts to the importance of a father that we're going to have to cover. So I'm not going to say the second part is next week. You'll know when I upload the flyer on next Monday, whether that will be part 2 or something else. It just depends. So if you have something that you want me to add, please feel free to inbox me at on Facebook at Kim Empower, or you can email me at mizempower@gmail.com. So I have the email on the screen, and if you are wanting to join me on screen, then send me an email and I will send you the link, and then you can join me tonight. So I just wanted to give opportunity for a few more people to log on with me before I jump in to this conversation. But one thing I wanted to say was a father's impact is the foundation, and it's long lasting for a child, like whatever it is that is taught by the father. The father is a very important component. You know, I'm not going to focus on the mother's role, because we talked about that back in June. And anybody that wants to watch that video, it is on my YouTube channel at Ms. Empower. But I wanted to focus more so on the fathers, because they are so important for our children. And just the way that they think, they do things, just everything about them. It's just important for the father to be a part of that. So let me see. I'm trying to see if I have anything out there. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and jump in. So feel free to comment. Hold on, because I need to get my phone so I could see if I get an email. Okay, so like I said, feel free to comment, or whatever it is that you want to comment, you want to ask a question, whatever. If it's something you want me to say to the audience, you're welcome to do that as well. Okay, so here we go. This topic was on my mind to talk about when I did the video about the importance of a mother. I knew that I didn't want those on the same segment, because they both need their own segments. And actually, I need to do another part to the mother segment as well, but there are definitely different parts for the father. So I would say this: fathers have a very large responsibility, and their responsibility can be very overwhelming. There are a lot of expectations. So here's a few that I have, and please add in the comments something else that you know that is expected from a father as well. So the father is expected to protect, to provide, to discipline, to set the example, to lead, to love, to encourage, to bond, to build an interaction, to be the model of what a man should be. You know, the father is expected to be what they want their child to know about men. And so, like I said, they have a huge responsibility. So I listed 9 things. Please list in the comments if there is something else that you think that is expected from a father. Hey Shay, thanks for joining me tonight. What happened to my screen? Okay, so let's just go and just kind of talk about it. So we know that the father is expected to protect. You know, when a child sees their father, they see safety. You know, as a daughter, I know if I need my dad, if I'm in any type of situation, I'm going to call him. You know, because I know that he's going to protect me. And it has always been that way. I couldn't imagine not feeling like I could. So, when I say protection, and I don't just mean protect me from somebody. You know, it could just be, you know, I'm going through something emotionally, you know, and I need my father to hold my hand or to say something to me, you know, to encourage me or to let me know that everything's going to be okay. So the father, that's an expectation for them to protect. And protection goes deep. Hey sis, thanks for joining me tonight. I have someone over here on YouTube that just joined in. I have, well, as far as that I can see, guys, because if you don't comment, I won't know that you're on here. So we have, like I said, the protection. So then we have provide. So a father's role in providing is not just monetary. I know that there's a big focus on that. That is definitely something that is needed, but there is so much more to just providing that. You know, providing emotional support is another thing that I feel would fall up under providing. You know, just as if we said, and I really hate to say this on here, but child support. If we say child support, it's not just the monetary part. It's the support of your child, you know, in their emotional state. You know what I'm saying? A child needs their father for that. They need to be able to see that. And a lot of times when you start speaking emotional, you start to think about a woman being emotional. But a son needs to see and get that from their dad as well. And a daughter needs to see that within their dad. So it's important to be able to provide that emotional support. Is there something else that you can think of that is important for a father to provide? Please put that in comments, and I'm going to go to the next one. A father is expected to discipline. You know, they're expected, like when the child steps out of line, the father is expected to get them back in line, you know, and whatever that discipline is that has been established. To get them prepared for the future and to keep them, and that goes back to safe and being protected, to protect them from whatever it is that they could possibly get into in the future Because if you don't discipline when they're young, when they become older, you lose them. And then they do what they want to do. And then that's when you get those phone calls, to come get your child from the jail or whatever. And so it's important that the father is, to discipline. The discipline, like, has always been looked at as the father's role. And we're going to jump into just how things were back in the day, what we saw for the father, the type of picture that was painted. So then also we have set the example. The father is expected to set the example for the children. How they should speak when being spoken to. Just the rights and the wrongs, like what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing, how they should be going about doing things. And it's always supposed to be by them setting the example. So the child has to see that the father is doing that in order for them to be able to follow that. And so that's going to take us into the father leading. So leading the household or leading the child, and guidance is another word for that. Guiding them, in the right direction. And then when we start talking about love, love it falls in so many different directions, up under so many different things. When we start talking about the importance of the father showing love, like we have always seen where the father is to look, be kind of rough. And I still see that sometimes. But then I still see the softer side of a father with their daughters and their sons, when they're dealing with them, when they're talking to them. Hey, Laverne, thanks for joining me tonight. And so in love, they have to see that. They have to see that, and that goes back to setting the example. They have to see the father showing love, not only to the child, but just the people that surrounds them, that's around them. They have to see the love. They have to feel the love. And we'll dive into that a little more as well. The other expectation is encouragement. Like they are expected to encourage the children in every aspect of their life. And that doesn't even stop when they become adults. The parent still has to be there, the father, still has to be there to encourage. Because your children are still going to be going through something, and that's honest, because I'm grown, but I still, occasionally, I need encouragement from my father. I need it from other people that I see as father figures or mother figures. The other expectation is a bond. Like, it's important that the father is building a bond with their child, build that interaction, take control of that and make sure that you have a connection with your child, because if your child does not feel a connection with you, then that kind of makes things harder for them, and it makes them see life differently when they don't have that connection. It's almost like not having a father when they don't have that bond or that connection, because they don't really know how to interact with their father. And so it's an expectation that you bond and build that interaction. You figure out what that needs to be. And then the ninth one that I had was be the model of what a man should be. So when we start looking at our daughters absolutely need the model of what a man is and should be. And we're going to dive into that, like maybe in another part, or if we have time later, we'll dive into that just a little bit. But it's important for the girls to really have a great model of a man and how a man is supposed to treat her. And so I see a lot of videos. Sometimes I come across reels or just posts where fathers are taking their daughters to tea parties and they're joining the tea party with them. They're going with them to get their nails done. You know, they're just bonding. They are spending time, but then they are also showing them what a man will do or should do. They're setting the tone and the expectation for the young ladies. And when I see that, I just love it. When I see the fathers spending time with their children, whether it's their daughters or their sons or both, it doesn't matter. It's beautiful to me, you know, because even in, you know, sometimes the parents are not together, which that really shouldn't keep the father from spending the time and establishing these things with their children. But I know there are cases where that does happen. And so we're not going to dive into that tonight. That would probably be in the other part. But I just really want to focus in on the importance, meaning the value of a father. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I just feel like something happened on Facebook. I don't think they're still on here. Sorry guys, 1 second. Or it just might be my iPad. I'm gonna look at my phone real quick. Sorry about that. Because for a minute there I saw them, but then it's like everybody disappeared. Gotta make sure. I can't see. Okay. That's odd, but some of my stuff is missing off. I appreciate your patience, guys. 1 second. Trying to make sure I'll still be able to see comments. And apparently I can't. Unless I do it like this. Okay. So, like I said, I had 9 expectations, you know, of the father. Like I said, they carry a large responsibility. So, do you guys, can you think of something else that is an expectation of a father that's important? And while you guys are thinking, I'm going to move to the next part. So I told you the expectations in the society, but the children, this is what the children look for in their fathers. They look to be kept safe. You know, they look for protection. They look to be able to run and jump in your arms, you know, and hold on to you. And it doesn't have to be anything wrong. They just want to feel that love and affection. They look for a father to be present, you know, like if they have activities going on, or, you know, they just want to sit and talk with you, or they just want to sit and watch TV with you, you know, or eat with you, just whatever it is that the child is wanting to do. One thing I left out, guys, in the expectations was children look for the father to teach them things, you know, as far as like, well, for me, my father, I used to say he lectured. See, my stuff disappeared again on Facebook. I used to say when he was teaching me something, he was actually lecturing. And so sometimes it's just about the way that it's taught to you. So that's how I looked at it. But children look for you to teach them things like sports, you know, something out of the Word of God, you know, or just whatever your skill is. Like my dad, he's a general contractor, and so he taught my brothers how to do different things, you know, so if they ever needed to survive, you know, that they had these skills, you know. He not only taught them, but he taught my uncles, he taught my aunties, he taught my cousins how to do it as well. So, you know, fathers are looked at as somebody that can teach you something. You know, you look forward to learning something from them. You know, you always see videos or pictures of fathers playing in the yard with their kids with the ball, teaching them how to play basketball, baseball, you know, just the different things. And so that is something also that a child looks for, you know, and that's like a part of their quality time. You know, they look for the quality time with the parent, you know, and teaching them something is actually just giving them some quality time, and they look forward to that. And so quality time could be other things. Maybe you went out to eat, you know, maybe you went to go ride go-karts, horseback riding, camping, all those things. Those are the type of things that my father used to do with us, take us to the beach. We always went somewhere to go fish, camping, swimming, go look at the animals, just whatever. We were always, you know, going to do something. And so I appreciate that. Even my grandfather, he was that way. He would come and get my brothers, take us to the zoo, you know, just do things with us. And so those are things that I definitely appreciated as a child. But children, they look for these type of things. They look for the quality time. Even if it's just going to a parent-teacher conference, you know, you're spending that time together, going there together. Whatever it is that they're going to do with you together, that is quality time. And that is something that a child looks for. I remember going to my dad's house on the weekends after my parents divorced. And I feel like those were the times where I felt like I was the closest to him, because I felt like I just got to know him better, you know, with him being outside of the home. So that was my quality time, you know, on the weekend to spend with him. And I always look forward to it because I knew we were going to do something fun. You know, even if we sat around the house, you know, I remember my dad building me a doll house from scratch, you know, with the wood and all of that stuff, you know. And that was so, you know, amazing. And it was so amazing to me. And it made me happy, you know, that that's what he did for me. And that was quality time as well. They also look for you, like we talked before, about teaching them how to do things, you know, like building stuff, you know. I tell my dad all the time, I said, Dad, I wish that you would have involved me in the things you taught the boys, you know, how to paint, all of that stuff, because I'm just now starting to paint. Like, I'll get in here and paint rooms in my house, you know, but this was not stuff that I was doing before. I would be looking for him or my brothers to come do this stuff. Like, come on, y'all, I need a room painted, you know. And so COVID came and I jumped in and just started doing it. But I just told him, I said, I wish you would have involved me, you know, in the construction stuff, you know, because who knows, I would have been taking over his company, you know, and running it and doing some different things. But I have no clue about construction, you know, and I don't even know if I would have the patience to go back and learn now. I cannot see the comments for, oh, okay. Okay, here we go, Laverne. I'm sorry, because I could not see, hey, Will, I couldn't see comments from Facebook for a minute. So we have a comment on the Facebook side. It says, okay, so I was raised by my mother as a single parent. My mother and father divorced when I was like 5 years old. My father was incarcerated most of my life, but I still had a father-son relationship with him throughout my life. I had many father figures in my life, and that's a beautiful thing when you have men that, I'm sorry, I always do this, look down at this phone. When you have fathers or father figures that step in and, you know, are there for you in that space that you are needing someone to be there, you know, and every child needs that when the father is missing for whatever the reason is. Like you said, your father was incarcerated, you know, that is the case sometimes. You know, the father could be incarcerated, the father could be deceased, you know, and, you know, there are many reasons. So, what happened to my comment? Okay, so that's amazing that you had that. I'm so thankful to hear that. And, you know, we have a lot of coaches out here that step in as well to feel that. Hey, Will, I don't know if I spoke or not. See, all this stuff keep disappearing over here. So yeah. Hold on, guys, because oh, so I think I was just speaking on teaching how to do things, and that was just something that I told my dad I wish that he would have involved me in, learning how to do the stuff that he was showing my brothers. And then children also look for, you know, the father to show love. You know, not just say it, but show, you know, show it in action. And then they also look for the father to bond with them. They look forward to that, having that bond. Because when you don't have that, it makes it really hard and complicated to have a great relationship, you know, as you're getting older. So Laverne, so you said, hold on, I'm gonna go back and see before I ask you this question. Okay, so you said you still had a father-son relationship with your father while he was incarcerated. So you guys were writing back and forth. You were able to visit and still maintain a relationship. Were you able to so he was still able to teach you the things that you needed to know as a man, even though you were a young boy. But you know, the men still instill certain things in their sons that they're going to need when they grow up, because that's one of the expectations of a father as well. And sometimes people don't receive that. So I was just wondering if you had that with your father. And I'm sorry I have to keep hitting my phone because y'all comments keep disappearing on me. So Will says on Facebook, bonding. You mean getting yelled at more than the regular workers? Okay. Right. You're right. But I still feel like knowing some of the things about the business would have helped me at this point in my life. Like, it shouldn't have taken me this long to learn how to paint. That's just ridiculous. So Laverne says yes. Okay, so you said yes about, you know, being able to have the things instilled in you that you needed to know as a young man for when you became a grown-up, you know, a grown man. And so that's wonderful. Another thing is a child looks for their identity in their father. So they need the father to show them who they are. And a lot of times when they don't get that, then it confuses them in so many different aspects of their life, not being able to identify with their father. And then the last thing that a child looks for is the father to be emotionally available to them and to pour into them. So Laverne, let me see if I missed something. Okay, so Laverne said on Facebook, I went to see him every weekend at the workhouse and every place that he was at. Okay, so that's great that you didn't miss any time with him. You were still, like I said, having conversations, still being able to see him. Maybe you couldn't do the things that you would have done had he not been, incarcerated. But the fact that your relationship wasn't cut off and it was still, able to flourish, that's wonderful and a blessing, because I know there are many that probably don't have that story or that experience. Are there any other comments of what I already talked about? Because I talked about the expectations of a father. So for those of you that have just joined, I said the expectations from society for a father is to protect, provide, discipline, set the example, lead, love, encourage, bond, and build an interaction. Be the model of what a man should be. So if anybody wants to add to that, and I know Facebook has a little delay, feel free. While I'm waiting for you guys to comment, hold on, because I want to, what's that on here? Okay, sorry about that. So if we look back, fathers were disciplinarians. So like the mother would say, your father's going to deal with you. Hey, Nicole, when he gets home, so he was the disciplinarian. He was the leader, the leader of prayer, whatever religion that you guys were in, he was the leader of that. He was the leader of whatever went on in the household. He was the teacher. He taught you the different skills and different things that you needed to know, or just the different things about life. Like the fathers mostly would sit down and have conversations and talk to you about different things. They set the tone for the family. They were the providers. They were hard workers. I think in some cases, though, if I look back, and it might have just been my household, like when Dad came home from work, it's like you really weren't supposed to bother him because he needs to shower. We would eat dinner, and I don't know. I don't know if it was just me. I mean, our household, but that's what I saw. I saw that we had to give him his space, like. And I just wonder, was it like that for anybody else in their household? Like, for the father when they came home, it's like the mother kind of pretty much dealt with you, and you gave the father the opportunity to get himself together, I guess, and then, you could interact with him. So, let me read the comment from Lavert on Facebook. The one thing he taught me from prison is how to never walk in his shoes. What he asked of me was to listen to my mother, respect her, and listen to the man who she was seeing and respect him as well. Ooh, Allow him to be a father figure in my life as well. Man. Lavert, that is an awesome thing that your father did. That's not always easy for a man to say something like that. Like, when I say that, I don't mean that most men don't tell you to respect your mother, because no, that's not true. They demand that you respect your mother. But the man that was in her life, you know, I don't know what the situation was with your parents, if they had been married before, or had they had what was their relationship before him becoming incarcerated. But whatever it was, your father was a very respectful man to say that to you, because he set you up to win. You know, because a lot of times children, when there's another male in the home that's not their father, they feel like, oh, he ain't my daddy. You know, I don't have to respect him. Even though this is the man that is taking care of you, you know, and in some cases he's taking care of you along with your actual father. But in your case, your father was, you know, incarcerated, so he wasn't able to do so. But he's letting you know, respect him because he's taking care of you. And that's awesome, because him instilling that in you, it makes you a very respectful person, period. Because not only do you respect your mother and your father, but you respect the man that actually was taking care of you. And that's awesome. He set you up to win. That's awesome. I love to hear that, because you don't hear that all the time. Sometimes you get the negative side, which to me that's maturity, because families blend, you know, and you see a lot of blended families now, more so than you've seen before. And it's important that whether the father is your biological father or not, they still should receive the respect, because they are stepping in as a father figure. And it's not always easy to be the step parent, because you don't always get the same respect that the biological parent would get. But you are putting in a lot of work, you know, and helping. So hopefully your comment helps somebody as well, because it's very important that we teach our children how to respect. And that coming from your father made you the man that you are right now, Lavert. And just in the conversations that we've had in the past, you know, you're such a wonderful person, and I see why you are that person. It is because of the things that he poured into you. Like I just said, it's important that a father pours into their children. You know, that's the importance of a father, to pour into the children. Pour that respect into your child, so that when they go to school, they're respectful to, you know, the teacher, they're respectful to the coach, you know, they're respectful to just, you know, people that are, you know, their elders, you know, period. So the things that you want your children to do, you have to pour that into them. You can't just tell them, you know, you have to be that example. And with him being where he was and telling you to do that, that was the example for you. Because he didn't have to say, he could have just said, be respectful to your mom. But he didn't have to say, and respect the man that's in that household that's taking care of you. He didn't have to. And he did. And so that's what I'm saying. Be the example. Don't just tell your child, like you could tell your child all day long to be respectful, but if they've never seen you do it, they may not. They're gonna follow what it is that they see you do. that touched my heart. Yes, I love that. And you also said you had other men in your life that helped play that part of the father in your life as well, and that's grand. Hey Michelle, thanks for joining us tonight. So let me see. I put my paper down when I read that comment because I had so much to say about that. So anybody else have any comments or anything, please feel free to put that in there. So let me see. So I had something else that I wanted to add while I'm waiting for you guys to comment. So strength can be, I'm sorry, I gotta start over. The father's strength can be viewed as powerful. The father's words can be fueling and inspirational. The father's hugs can be deeply comforting. The father's smiles can instill the joy and the confidence. The father's time can be fun and productive. The father's guidance can be life-changing, changing the foundation. The father's correction can be life-saving and life-giving. The father's adventures can be exciting and memorable. So, that last part, the adventures, my dad used to take us to do all these different things, and we were excited. And those are things that I remember, because he took that time out to do those things with me. I remember he put me in dance class, he would take me to my dance classes. He would go to my recitals with me, I remember these different things. I remember the Wiz came here and he took me to see it. I remember doing a lot of different things. I also remember being in a drama class. I don't even remember how old I was. I might have been 9 or 10 or something. Maybe I was 9. But he would take me every Saturday to that class. And these are things he would have me involved in on the weekends, when he would have me on the weekends. So I remember all these things. Do I remember them when I'm mad at him? That's the question. But sometimes things do come to me, but those type of things are memorable. But the strength from your father, when your father shows you just how strong they are, and it's so powerful. Hey Dawn, thanks for joining me. So Laverse says, growing up he's on Facebook again, guys. Growing up as an only child wasn't easy, but then my father also had other children outside of the marriage, which made me the oldest. Okay. Wow. So how did you feel, knowing that you had once you knew that you had other siblings, coming from being an only child? And were you guys able to connect? So, and again, going back to what I was saying, the words from a father can be fueling and inspirational. That's where I start talking about the father pouring into you. It's important for the father to lead and guide you in the direction that you need to go in. I feel like my dad always meant well, and he wanted the best for all of us, all three of us. And his way of helping my brothers and guiding them was to show them, the construction side of it. Me, he wanted me to be able to do the different things that he thought girls do. You know, so like the track and field, I wasn't able to do those things, but dance and, you know, all those other things that he had me signed up for, like, I was overwhelmed. By the time I got to high school, I didn't want to do anything. He was like, you want, nope, I don't want to, you know, because he tried though, you know, to have me do all these things, but by the time I got to high school, I just was exhausted, you know. But just the fact that he saw fit to make sure that I was able to do these different things, you know, means the world to me, because that made me do the same for my children when they got here. From a verse said, the bond between me and siblings are unbreakable. I love it. My brother and sister are very overprotective. What happened? Are very overprotective of their big brother. I love it. That's awesome. I'm sorry, Dawn. Your comment had disappeared. So Dawn said, for so long I held so much unforgiveness towards my father because I thought he should have stepped up to the plate more than he did. I prayed and prayed, and God allowed him still to continue to live to this day so I could walk through forgiveness with him. And that's a beautiful thing when you forgive, period, you know. But to forgive your father, that is a beautiful thing, and for him to still be here to do that, because sometimes, you know, it's not that for people, you know. They could lose that parent and never got a chance to forgive or have another conversation. And so just knowing that whatever your relationship was with him, I'm glad you were able to correct that. I'm glad that you were able to forgive, and I'm glad that he's here to this day for you to be able to spend time with him, you know. There are so many different relationships that people have with their fathers, and I'm sure there are plenty of stories that people may have, and that's why we probably will, not probably, we are going to have a part 2, because there is more to say about the importance of a father. And honestly, guys, this is not to bash fathers. It is just to simply talk about the importance of a father, and then your experience. What was your experience? You know, some people can learn from your experience. I think I just saw something pop up. Okay, so Laverse said, but then my mother remarried when I was 16, and she adopted my stepfather's children, and the bond between us started off rocky because I was the oldest, but then as they got older, the bond became stronger. Oh, that's awesome. So you okay, so how many siblings do you have? Because you started out the only child here, Lavert. Well, God blessed you with a lot of siblings. And that's a beautiful thing that she adopted his children. Because I say when you get married and your spouse has children, you know, you shouldn't look at them as step. You know, whether you adopt them or not, you know, you just shouldn't. It should be, you all just family, period. Guidance, I said guidance can be life-changing, and a father's guidance can be life-changing. You know, a father guiding their son can definitely change his life. You know, when the father guides the son, they are showing them what life is or what life can be. You know, well, son, if you do this, you can get here. And then it always goes back to how you are talking and interacting with your son. Like, it doesn't have to be harsh. You know, you don't have to beat them down. You don't have to tear them down. I think that you should really think about how it felt as a child coming up. How did you like to be talked to? If your parent talked to you in this manner, do you think things would have turned out differently? You know, so it's all in how you pour into the child. Because when you talk harsh, a child may not hear you. So it's important to know just the way that you should pour into your children. And then our fathers are needed to pour into our girls, because the father is that model of what she's going to look for when she gets to the dating stage. And if you never told her you love her, if you never had a pet name for her, she can meet a young man and he could just say, "Hey, baby girl," and she all in, because she heard what she never heard before, what she always wanted to hear. So it's important to have that father pouring into their boys and their girls to prepare them for life. Hey Shantae, thanks for joining. Okay, so you said it's five of you guys, and that's awesome. Hey Ralph, thanks for joining. Okay, so Dawn said, I'm sad because he doesn't venture out to the public. He was diagnosed with colon and prostate cancer as well as dementia. So every time I ask him to go out to eat with me or come and hang out, at my place with family, he says no because of how the dementia affects him. Yeah, I'm sorry that he's, dealing with these different ailments. And dementia is really hard. My mom, she suffered dementia, and I saw how, when they first told me she was in the pre-stage of dementia, I was like, well, I don't think so. I don't think you guys diagnosed her, but then she had a stroke, and probably like a couple of months later, and dementia just set all the way in for her. So I can relate to you with the dementia, because it changes their lives completely. They go from being able to do things for themselves to not being able to. And it's a lot for them. So yeah, I hate to hear that. But just keep on loving him, loving on him. Spend time with him where he is, where he feels comfortable, make memories. So, let me see. I think I went through are there any comments on what I have said tonight? We're coming to a close here. It's 9 o'clock. And again, hold on, I want to see. Okay, so again, we'll have another part to this. I just will just watch for the flyers, okay? I'll definitely announce that. But if there's something that you want me to talk about specifically, please inbox me at Kim Empower on Facebook, or you can email me at msempower@gmail.com. You should see that on the screen below. Hey Kurt, let me see, did I have any? Okay, so Dawn said, hold on, I skipped somebody. Okay, Laverne said, okay, so my adoptive siblings have their mother, my sister has her mother, my brother has his mother, and she also had other children. We all have different fathers. Wow. hold on. And so, like, what was their relationship with their, their fathers? Did they have, because it seems like your dad, he was just on point. Like, I have so much respect for him. Never met him before, but just the things that he told you, that is awesome. And and I hope you don't mind if I bring that up in the next segment that we that we do this in. The next part, that's what I want to say. Can't get that out. But I hope you don't mind me bringing it up, just in case you don't log on that day. Because that's a great example. So those of you that just logged on, you missed out. Levert was saying that his father was incarcerated, when he was a young boy. And so he would, go and see him and everything. His relationship with him didn't stop, He was very instrumental in his life. He said his father told him to make sure, and I want to go back and read it real quick. Well, I feel like I didn't read that comment, Levert. Hold on. Okay, so he said the one thing that his dad taught him was how to never walk in his shoes. What he asked of him was to listen to his mother. Hold on. To listen to his mother, respect her, and listen to the man who she was seeing and respect him as well. And allow him to be the father figure in his life. Now, I just thought that was so awesome for his dad to tell him that, because he set him up to win, right? By learning to be respectful at that early age, and being respectful to not only his mother, but the man that she was seeing, and allow him to be a father figure. That speaks volumes. He set him up to win, because, as I was saying earlier, so many times the children have a hard time accepting the other person in the relationship, the father. And they'll say, oh, he ain't my daddy, but this is the man that's helping take care of you, and they don't have the same respect that they would have for their own father. But this person has stepped in and they are playing that role. And they deserve respect as well. And so that right there touched my heart, and I have the most respect for him for telling you that. And again, I will bring that up next week, or the next part. So Dawn says, okay, so Dawn said that her dad, let me read it like she wrote it. We send each other heart emojis, which I call love letters. I love it. So he's on the phone texting you. That's beautiful for him to be able to do that. But yeah, I just say love him through whatever it is that he's going through. And that goes for anybody. Whatever your father is going through, love them through it. And build on your relationships to the best of your ability. Be respectful. My fathers out there, continue being the men that you are by pouring into your children, loving them, protecting them, building on your relationships with them, and being present in every aspect of their life. Don't give them the opportunity to miss you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Don't give them the opportunity to miss you. Be there. Be present. Don't make them have to say, well, I wish you would have been there for such and such, or you call them, do you have anything coming up? Be present. Continue to be present in the child's life, because you have no idea how you impact them, your sons and your daughters. All right, guys, I have enjoyed this conversation tonight on the importance of a father, which I say importance is the value, and you're very valuable to our children. So with that being said, I look forward to talking with you guys on next Tuesday for another Let's Talk About It Tuesday. Again, you can send any questions that you would like for me to address to my email at msempower@gmail.com, or you can also send it to my inbox at kimempower. All right, guys, look forward to talking to you, and have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe.